What's happening, family? What's happening? Peace, 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 peace. On my way to New York right now. Oh man, as we working on this renaissance, you know, the goal is a renaissance. I've been asking this question, like revolution or renaissance. First of all, I just want to say thank you all for being on the live. Thank you very much. Peace, peace, peace. Makes me feel good to see y'all in the building. You understand me? Your big brother 19 Keys tapping in, loading in one time. You know, on my way to New York, I have to go speak to the teachers, right? The teachers in New York and the principals in New York. Yesterday I had the great pleasure. It was like, I think they said something around like 50 principals, 100 teachers or something like that. It was a Zoom call that I was giving my insights on the future of AI and the future of education and what's necessary to get children to become willful to take action. Because right now, like, kids have access to all this information, but they don't seem to be willful to want to do anything, right? And it was a really good discussion because it really got to some key points. And the reality is, I realized that I wasn't talking about the children. You know, I was really talking about the adults. You know what I mean? And you realize that the grown adults can't find passion and willfulness right now because they have too many options. We have what I call freedom fatigue. Freedom fatigue, right? Freedom fatigue is the fatigue that comes from having too many choices, right? So imagine it like this, and it's an interesting concept. All right, you're a billionaire. All of a sudden, you're a billionaire. All right, you don't have to do anything anymore, right? And let's start it back. You had a company that you had your whole life. You worked your whole life to get this goal and this idea out. Every single day of your life, you worked to bring this into fruition. And one day, you sold your company for $100 million. You sold your company for $100 million, and life becomes so easy, you don't know what to do anymore. Your sense of purpose kind of just disappeared because you have everything you ever wanted. You can buy whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. And now you kind of sitting at home in this big house with all this money, not knowing what to do next. And it's something that happens to people. Once you get the thing that you've been going for, you understand me? You start to get this freedom fatigue of like, and it comes in different waves, but one of them is like, yo, I have all these options to do anything. Now you don't know how to make a decision because everything was so easy at first, in the sense that you know exactly what you wanted to do, exactly what you needed to do every single day when you woke up, right? Because there's a limited amount of options. We working on this thing, we executing. Kids in the 90s, 80s, 70s, like, yo, I got to get a job. I have to figure out how to live the American dream. You understand me? Kids that grow up in the hood, they see even limited options. I'm going to be a criminal, a drug dealer, or I'm going to go to college route if I can, right? There was always a limited amount of options, and these limited amount of options don't require too much thinking, right? So it was easy for you to make decisions. But now, what do you be in the future, right? Should I make movies because I have access to VO3? You understand me? Should I become a writer because I have access to ChatGPT? You understand me? I don't have excuses in front of me. Any idea that I could think of from when I was a child till now is now possible. And I'm left with this inevitability of looking at myself in the mirror and asking, who am I and what do I actually want to do? And this is causing a fatigue, right? To where a person doesn't know what the hell they want to do anymore. And not because they have limited options, but because they have unlimited options. And this is causing people to reconnect with themselves. Because you're not going to find it by learning about the next AI tool. You're not going to find it by, you understand me, finding more and more options. You're only going to find that by getting in tune with self. And reminding yourself of who you are. And because so many people are disconnected from their true self, like their childhood self, the things that they wanted to do, the things that bring them real joy, because we've been so used to being programmed about this American dream or making money, and we don't know how to make meaning. And when you have a lot of options, you're trying to do the thing that means something to you. Because you can do anything, but what means something? What's something that I feel connected to? You understand me? So this is the fatigue that people currently face. I wrote an article about this on Substack where it's like, imagine if you're a billionaire. And Substack is this space where I write long form articles about ideas and thoughts that come to me throughout the week and weekly. So you definitely should go find me on Substack. That's SUBSTACK, 19 keys. Subscribe on there. But it was like, AI will make you a billionaire in the sense that what does a billionaire have once they get all the money in the world? It frees up your cognition, right? Your thinking. Because you now don't have to think about the things that normally society tells you are important in order for you to be enrolled into society and be a mature human being. A mature human being has to think about what they say, how they say it. You have to think about managing finances, paying bills, right? You have to think about managing your own health. You have to think about managing, right, your legal stuff, right? You have to think about managing your time, right? You have to think about your business. Like, you have all of these different compartmentalized things that they say this is what makes a full adult. So you're socialized and conditioned to say that you're going to be a responsible adult if you compartmentalize your life in these areas and you spend a certain amount of your daily cognition on these particular things. Now, once you get a lot of money, you have people to do all those things for you. So every particular area you have to think about right now will be freed up because we're going to have AI agents. So AI agents are autonomous agentic AI that operates and do these things automated for you. You won't have to read emails. Your AI would do that. You won't have to book appointments. Your AI will do that. You won't even have to text people. You'll be texting somebody else AI for you, and they'll be setting up the meeting for you, right? You're not going to have to read through certain details and contracts and none of those different things that you have to do now. It will all be automated for you. And you're just going to have to manage the AI, and they're going to have to know your wants, needs, desires, etc. So therefore that they're operating for you and on your behalf, right? And so as this thing continues to grow, you essentially have the freedom of a billionaire now, and so your cognition will be freed up, and the things that society had to historically think about, they won't have to think about no more. So where will all of that free cognition go towards? Well, that's when you get freedom fatigue, and now that's when you start to think about, what is there to think about? Because you found value in your ability to process these things, right? People who look at their identities, oh, I have a job, oh, I have a degree. So many men and women have put their stock of value, their whole identity in their job. Well, when that job disappears and that degree is no longer valuable, then who are you? Oh, you're an accountant because you went and got this. Oh, you're a realtor because you got this. Well, what happens when those things are no longer as valuable? Then who are you? When you don't have to manage none of those things, the world would have to figure out what to do with their time and their mind. And that's where we go into the pursuit of passion, right? We go into the pursuit of not purpose. See, chasing purpose is what you actually lose yourself trying to find yourself. I know it's an oxymoron, but think about it. You lose yourself trying to find yourself because you start telling yourself, the moment that you're trying to find yourself, you're telling yourself you're lost. This is true, Mike Rashid. This is true. You lose yourself because you tell yourself you're lost. I need to find myself. Well, that means you're lost. Anything you need to find is lost, or it is away from you. So we're going to change from finding purpose, right, to finding awareness, to increasing your awareness of self. You don't need to find yourself. It is becoming aware of yourself. And so awareness will be more important, right? And in that awareness is where you can live at your highest consciousness. Because now I am aware of who I am. I am aware of what I should do with myself and my time. Because I know myself. You can have all the options in the world. If you're a warrior, you're going to do what warriors do. You can have all the options in the world, but if you're a singer, you're going to want to sing. You can have all the options in the world, but if you're an artist that paints, you're going to want to paint. Because you're aware of yourself. You are aware of the things that you're good at, your skills, your talent, right? And so you know how to add value, not just to the world, but in alignment with yourself. So we have quantified so many things based on human beings becoming machines. Well, now the machines will be doing, right, all of the work that machines should do. So we're not going to be operating on what's our capacity for maximum efficiency. That's machine language. A machine language is not awareness, so awareness goes into a different state. Alignment, machine language is not alignment. This is human language. Then we go into soul language, and people are going to be speaking and aligning their life with their soul, right? They're going to be aligning it with their spirit. They're going to be aligning it with their self. But instead, right now, we have to align with money. We have to align with survival. We become machines and figuring out how efficient we are at work. Work is a unit of measurement for energy. You know what I mean? You measure human energy in joules, right? But as machines, that's where we have been cattled to for human capital, going from horses to railroads to human beings first, right? And slavery. So we made ourselves our own slaves, but now we become our own masters. And this is going to be tough for people because managing your own time is dangerous. Yeah, it's an adjustment. Managing your own time is dangerous. Most people do not want to manage themselves. Most people want to be led. So that's why it's triggering to say, save yourself. So there's going to be a new age of leaders, and it's going to actually be the common man or woman. Yes, there's always going to be the super high level, right? But people are burnt out of trying to be super high level. People just want daily success. They just want daily rituals that feel good, because what happened is the society stopped trying to fix themselves. Maybe you've nothing broken with you. So people selling you this fix, right, is burning you out because you've tried that over and over. You tried the latest mental trend, the latest course, you tried the latest thing, and you're like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not broken. So therefore, maybe you just need to operate within daily success rituals. And I think people, that's all they want. People just want success rituals. Just what can I do every day to be successful? And the reason why is because the future feels uncertain. And if the future feels uncertain, if everything is changing every single day and we don't know what's going on and what's going to happen, why am I preparing for the future? How do I prepare for the future? So people are burnt out for trying to prepare for a future that they don't even know what it will be. After we get done with AI, then here comes quantum machines. Quantum machines mapping the whole human genome. Then transhumanism, right? Then we going into multi-dimensions. Then we going into space travel. Then we having space wars. You know what I'm saying? So people are like, man, what's going on, man? Am I like preparing for the robots? Am I preparing for another dimension? Am I preparing for a new God to take over? So in that space, people are burnt out. So instead they say, how about I work on being the highest version of myself, so no matter what comes, I will be fine. And then that's when we go back into this inner awareness to say, damn, if I focus on me and self-development of my higher self, self-awareness, then it doesn't matter what the future becomes, because I'll be the best version of myself to deal with whatever. Think about it. Microsheet. Think about that. You'll be the highest version of yourself. So this now becomes the new goal. Now I'm ahead of thinking about these things because that's where my mind goes. But what's also going to happen is that there's going to be so many things that trying to steal your cognition. They're going to be building. The metaverse is not dead. It's not dead. They're going to build it out in such a way that when you feel like there's nothing to do, they're going to throw you into these 3D virtual reality machines that you're going to be living in 24/7, playing for digital money. Living in there, finding purpose inside of a digital virtual reality. There's going to be a lot of people doing that. Now, there's a beautiful side to this because I think that people who grew up in, and I was listening to, I went to an event by Bag Fuel, and it was with Van Jones was talking to this guy. He is a senior vice president of Google, black dude. Senior vice president of Google. And the conversation ended up getting good towards the end. I think at first they were just talking about stuff we already know, so it was kind of a waste of time. But it started to get good towards the end. We started kind of going into the philosophy of the world, right, and what will be. And one thing that I think Van said that I thought was good, that's something we all know, but I like the way that he set it up. And the setup was about, shout out to my brother Billy Carson in the building. The setup was this: the skill in the future would not be learning, because learning would it won't be as impressive, right? Because we have so much information. So learning becomes this instantaneous thing that doesn't require self-development. So there was a time if a man knew something, you understood that he had a mind that would mine information, that had to read and had to research and had to sit and be in discipline, because he had to sit in silence, burning the midnight oil, right? Obsessing and going into and going deep into his studies, deep into his training. So if a man knew something, then that means he was a different type of individual. Well, today you can memorize a script, and it doesn't mean you're actually intelligent. It doesn't mean you actually know anything. And so we're going into like the scripted world of communicators and speakers. And you can kind of notice them. They sound kind of fantastical. They use this scripted language that works really good on TikTok philosophy, right? And so it feels like you talking to like the smartest person ever, right? But it's nothing. It's just scripted knowledge. They can't really go on a free flow, right? Because their mind doesn't really have a depth of knowledge and understanding. Just picking up scripts and flowing with that. So learning won't be as impressive because we're going to have learning in our eyes. You don't know something, you'll have something that can tell you right there in your ear. You don't know something, you have something that can look it up right there in your eyes. So you won't be impressive with what people know at all. So learning decreases in value. And what increases is actually your ability to unlearn. And I like the point that he was making on that. So unlearning will actually be the key. Having neural flexibility, right? So your neural flexibility and the neuroplasticity to consistently unlearn things, right, will be the key. That will be the key. And so that's hard for a lot of people. They don't know how to unlearn what they know, because they think they know something. I'll give y'all this last gem. So like Mike Rashid, he's an avid drinker, right? Every time I see him, I'm always like, Mike, you gotta stop drinking so much, right? Before a workout, after a workout. But he's not an alcoholic. He just drinks more than alcoholics. But he's not an alcoholic. But I'm always like, Mike, drinking is not masculine. drinking is actually feminine, Mike. And so Mike, like, you know, he's seen it in all the movies. You know, the warriors always go to the pub, they go to the bar, and the warriors always drinking before they try to take over the kingdom. They meet at the pub and secretly, and they drink. And I'm like, Mike, don't you know that this is a conspiracy? And he's like, man, ain't no goddamn conspiracy. Men drink, I'm a man, drink up. And I'm like, nah, brother, this is not real. And so I did my research. And so I'm telling them, I say, you know, the liquor industry lobbied Hollywood. The liquor industry lobbied Hollywood to connect masculinity to liquor. And when they did that is, it made men think that drinking was a masculine thing to do. It was a manly thing. I'm man, I drink. I can drink you under the table. I'm man. You know what I'm saying? So it was a brilliant strategy, because in all the movies you go watch, they go to a pub, they go to a bar, right? The toughest man in the world can drink. And what they did is they made sure that they did not connect it to a particular drink, because otherwise you would have realized they was doing it. They just connected to social spaces and masculinity. So even when like women, when they wanted to go after women in marketing, they connected that to like wine and like feminine and women empowerment, right? Same reason like feminism started, because of cigarettes. But liquor and masculinity are not intertwined. Drinking actually disrupts your intellectual thoughts, right? And it actually drops your masculinity, makes you softer, more feminine. So why in every single movie they go get 2 big old cubes of liquor, you know what I mean, poured in a cup, shaken, not stirred, and then they drink? All right, so now let's go a little deeper. So I was doing my research and I said, okay, it was actually coffee houses. It was coffee houses. Coffee houses was replaced by liquor pubs in history. This is a true, actual, like, history that nobody ever talks about. Like, this is part of the reason I wanted to do the Supermind. Because superminds would get together and they would talk about philosophy and intellect and music and culture. The Moors, when they was actually having a renaissance, they had coffee houses where people would come together, they would get dressed up. But now we get dressed up to go to the club to go drink. And then people wonder why I can't find nobody. Well, everybody goddamn needs spirits in them to be around each other. Now you can't even remember this person. That don't make sense. But if you find a woman at the coffee house, you feel me, she at one of the Supermind events. She's super mind, super fine. You understand me? She dressed up, and y'all having a high level conversation, which increases connection and stimulation. When you have higher order conversation, you actually feel better about that person. But the club and the lounges create short disconnection culture. So disconnection culture is where you're going to get you a quickie. You know what I'm talking about? It's a one-nighter. You feel me? It's disconnection. So you're actually going to social spaces to create disconnection between each other. So now you have realized, like, man, they actually played a psyop because it was about capitalism. But liquor was known as a stimulant for the mind. Nah, Michael Sheen don't drink. He ain't no drinker. He ain't no drinker. But think about that, though. We started, imagine if you, every movie you watch, you seen a strong intellectual man, right? He was drinking coffee, having conversations of intellect. Then you would have connect masculinity with intellect together. But we didn't do that. We didn't do that. We connected liquor to it. A self-destructive drink that even one drink is not good for us. And liquor, I mean, coffee comes from the city of Cafe in Ethiopia, right? Mocha was a place where they did trade out in Ethiopia, and they started, the Europeans named it after the flavor and aroma that came from that region. And then there was the place of Java, like the mocha, the Java, the coffee, all those African-centered names. So some of them would drink the coffee beans, of course, along the journey to keep their energy up. Monks would sometimes utilize coffee as a stimulant so that they can meditate longer. So like they connected coffee with this busyness culture, always busy, busy, coffee, busy, busy. I don't drink Supermind to be busy. I drink Supermind to increase my cognition so life don't feel busy. Because the higher your capacity, right, the slower the world goes, the more your brain speeds up. So now you want a calm focus. I don't want to be in this space, I'm drinking, doing hella stuff. Like, no, I want to be in a calm focus. So we start bringing back the coffee houses, the Supermind houses, what I really call them. You feel me? And from everybody that tried it said that, especially people who don't even like coffee, they love ours because we went a step further and did the mushroom coffee. Man, coffee good for the females and the men. Stop worrying about coffee. We've been drinking coffee for thousands of years, man. All this new fake science. Don't be drinking Starbucks. They got pesticides in it. You don't want none of that crappy coffee. I'm talking about that Guatemala, that Colombian, that Guadalajara, you know what I mean? That Kenya coffee, you feel me? That Ethiopian, that Blue Mountain coffee. I ain't talking about that BS y'all be getting. Don't be getting all of that. What they got? The Pete's coffee. Man, Pete ain't made a good cup of coffee in his life. How you gonna get coffee from a man named Pete? Pete? Nah. Starbucks got the little devil witch lady on there. Nah, we ain't doing none of that. Those are still places of disconnection. We creating places of connection. You know what I mean? So what they would do is they would have what they call a dollar. A dollar is almost like a beautiful vase. You know what I mean? That they will pour the coffee in. Hold on, let me see if I got a picture of it. I might have a picture for y'all. Y'all might be getting something real quick. Hold on, all right. So this is what a dollar would look like. So a dollar would be like a small little vase. Now they got more beautiful ones if we go into history. Well, let me go get a more beautiful one. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you. Let me take y'all through a quick little historical lesson, y'all. Because they really ran a psyop on us, man, and I hate that. I hate how they did us and made us forget who we are and what we do. You feel me? And so it's like, this is the new place where you go find, you know what I mean, your business partner, your husband, your wife. You feel me? You get your life together at one of these spaces. Damn, where is it at? I feel like I done scrolled all the scrolls I can read. Anyway, I think I done went too far. I'm on my way to the airport, so I got about another 30 minutes. Hopefully I don't miss my flight. It's hella traffic. I had gave YG some of this yesterday. So if y'all see YG, you know what I mean, going to another level, y'all already know why. But anyway, the dollar will be the pouring handle, and they would have about 6 cups, right? And small cups, they usually don't have handles, so we're gonna end up getting the cups with no handles. You know what I mean? But brothers and sisters will be like this. You feel me? They'll be drinking and having a conversation, building with each other. And then the Europeans, where they'd be like playing chess, you feel me, with some Supermind, sipping on some of that good stuff. Right? Hold on, let me show y'all some more real quick. And then, hold on, this is the funny right here. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Y'all, mindset is everything, right? Supermind, 10 out of 10, I highly recommend. Listen, the instructions didn't say don't consume more than 1 cup of coffee per day. So, y'all know I'm a real coffee drinker, right? I don't care for Starbucks. It's yuck coffee if you ask me. But I'm a Dutch Bros girl. But listen, none of that's neither here nor there because we got mushroom coffee, okay? And think about it. I'm going to take this on the road with me because it's essentially like making instant coffee. All you need is either hot or cold water 1 tablespoon, stir, stir, burr, and it's good enough to drink with or without creamer or natural sweetener. So if I don't have no creamer on the road or natural sweetener, I can still have the mushroom coffee. Cause what? The energy, mental clarity, the focus, OM to the Jeezy. Yeah, I'm about to go make me another cup. I'm gonna be 10 out of 10.
All right.
Y'all,
She was funny, man. She was funny. But I wanted to show y'all this picture in European. So this is like one of the oldest coffee shops you go find. Picture back in the day. You understand me? Brothers inside. You know, as you see, they always getting dressed up. But yeah, she say 10 out of 10. That's only because, you know, we used to doing 10 out of 10. It's really like 19 out of 19. But don't even worry about all that. Again, sitting around, you usually see them playing chess and drinking coffee because it was a natural stimulant. You know what I mean? It was a culture. The OGs still do this, you feel me? So we call this a renaissance because, and then like if you go to some of the European locations, you feel me? This wasn't a pub. They would be drinking coffee. You feel me? But they replaced this with liquor in all the shows and all the TV, so you think that it's liquor. This was coffee pub. This was coffee houses. Like they just really replaced history and ran a psyop on us. There was a time where coffee was banned. You feel me? And then they had to bring it back because they realized it's the best thing smoking.
Alright, so I learned this from a Q grader. It's my ritual now when I'm making coffee. And
this is the best way to prepare.
It's actually to make sure that you only pour a little bit starting off because you don't want to burn the coffee and burn the taste. It changes the taste by pouring all of it all at once. So we pour a little bit in there and we actually let this simmer. Oh, Q grader is like a sommelier, right? But for coffee, it's only a couple of hundred. In the actual United States, it's like getting your master's in coffee. You gotta take a bunch of tests and all kind of stuff. So I kind of let that sit for a little minute, make sure that flavor gets in there really good. Again, you don't want to burn it, and then there's a certain amount per. So I like to get it somewhere around like 100 milliliters of coffee in there, because this is mushroom and of course cordyceps. So now we let that simmer a little bit, we can pour the rest. Kind of letting it open up first before you just pour the coffee in. And me personally, I like mine black, so I don't need anything additional. And just like that, it's done.
Yep, so I learned that professional technique right there, man. That's part of the ritual. You pour just a little bit, let it simmer at the bottom so you get all the flavor, all the notes, all the aroma. You feel me? You wait just a few seconds. It could be like 30 seconds. And then after that, you pour the rest. So it's the lion's mane, the cordyceps. You feel me? A little caffeine for you. But it's the best thing pouring. We literally pouring into the Renaissance. And I think we sold out of our gummies, which are amazing. But we still have our chocolates. Let me show y'all chocolate. So I take one of these as like 1 to 2 chocolates per day. Yeah, man, you can probably do about 2 squares, but I take one of the cacao chocolates, which is good for your heart. It's prebiotic, so it's good for gut and heart. You understand me? Or gut and brain, rather. So gut and brain harmony is when you'll get some of this prebiotic chocolate right here in your life. So I love the packaging. We're gonna do some slight design changes as we kind of going through it, because I'm going to add the prebiotic on there so people know when they get in it. But each one of these, I think it's about 8 squares in these. No, hold on. It's about like 12 squares. So I'll take about 1 or 2 per day. You feel me? That's my daily ritual. Sometimes I drop it inside the coffee. You feel me? If I want to get that extra cacao in there. But that's really great, give you that boost when you mix in that lion's mane with the cacao. Oh my God, best on the planet Earth. Now, what we gonna do is, one of these, you're gonna get a golden ticket on the inside. So we're gonna have a winner that wins a golden ticket, and you're able to pull up on me. We'll fly you out, and you will have coffee with me, and we're gonna film it. You understand me? For this new show we got called Supermind, where it's basically we have coffee and conversation together. You know what I mean? So however long the length of one cup of coffee takes to drink, we'll do that. So you buy one of these, you understand me? And one of them will be a lucky winner that will have a golden ticket inside, and we're gonna fly you out, and we're gonna have coffee together. We're gonna have Supermind together. So I look forward to that. I don't know who gonna win, you understand me? But I look forward to that, and we will be announcing this very soon. We might take you to the retreat space. You know what I'm saying? Might take you to the retreat space. Yeah. So comes in like this, you open it up, you feel me? And you get a golden treat on the inside. And then you kind of just open that. And then here's what the chocolate looks like. This is some of the best chocolate that's made all in the US, so we're not shipping this, you know what I mean, very far. And you know, you're not getting no old chocolate, basically. You get everything fresh. It's organic, right? Pesticide free. It's vegan, right? It's the best on the market. I'm gonna put a smile on your face, man. It'll make me feel good. Got your big bro feeling good, man. Sometimes you just need a chocolate break. You just need a quick little Supermind break, man, from life. And just need a little break, man. It's almost like a meditation. You know, cacao is a natural heart opener. Really good for you. So you can take this chocolate, you can melt it down, and you can sip it like you would, like, you know, a hot chocolate. So if you want to turn your Supermind into basically like hot chocolate, that's one of the ways. I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to get on the flight and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and take two. I'm gonna go ahead and take two. Take me another break. Hold on. Back. Sometimes you just need a little break, man. And I'm back. Back, yo. You know, it's like just going out. Yeah, I just left the world and came back. That was good. So yeah, y'all let me know. I would love to see some of y'all videos. When you sipping on the Supermind, make sure you get some of the cups, because those cups are gonna be the OG cups. We about to sell out of those. You feel me? Once those sold out. Shout out to my brother Corday. So I'm gonna let y'all in on something that we're gonna be introducing later. But it's gonna be the Supermind house. So basically, we're gonna have our daily rituals. You know what I mean? Which is basically, it's basically gonna be a club where we wake up in the morning. I'll be going live at a certain time. It'll only be for people who got the Supermind. You feel me? And every day it will be some sort of cognitive ritual or science or philosophy that we'll be going over. So you'll be waking up in the morning with me. You have to be early. We will vote on what that time is going to be, but we're going to do it for 30 days. You feel me? So it's going to be 30 days of Supermind. You grab your coffee. You feel me? You have it with me every single morning, and we go over something that allows you to basically increase your mind. So I appreciate y'all tapping in. On my way to New York. If you're in New York, we have a few things going on. I will post a flyer and a schedule of events. I might go out there and teach the teachers. I don't think that's not open to the public. But we do have a dinner going on, high-level dinner. You feel me? You definitely want to pull up to that. It's going to be fire. So I appreciate y'all tapping in. I appreciate y'all locking in as always, man. Y'all have a blessed one, man. It feels good to see y'all. And make sure you tell somebody to tell somebody. And never drink alone is what we like to say. You know what I mean? I mean, you can if you're at home, you just waking up. You feel me? But call a friend over. You feel me? Or at least call them and y'all both share a cup together. You feel me? Our goal is to create connection. So don't drink alone. Drink together with somebody else. Every cup is a connection. Whether it's a neural connection, right, or a social connection. Peace.